Let's make some ooey gooey plant-based pumpkin spice chocolate brownies. Welcome back to the Whole Food Plant-Based Cooking Show, where we make plant-based cooking easy. I'm Jill, and guess what time it is? It is everything pumpkin spice season. So instead of just making a pumpkin spice latte or a pumpkin spice cookie or something like that, we are going to make these delicious layered pumpkin spice chocolate brownies. And the marriage of that chocolate brownie and the pumpkin mixture on the top, it is actually Jeff's favorite brownie right now. So that says a lot because he's picky with his chocolate stuff. All right, so we're gonna jump into the chocolate layer. I've already got my oven preheated to 350 degrees. And if you want all of the recipe ingredient list, there'll be a printable link in the details below. So the first thing we've got is 1.5 cups of drained and rinsed chickpeas, which is essentially 1 can. And we have 1/2 cup of almond butter, but you could also use peanut butter. They both work really well. You just really need some kind of nut butter just to make it really nice and smooth. And I have 3/4 cup of deglette dates that are already pitted. 1/2 cup of cocoa powder, 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda and 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder, and 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. And I have some plant milk here, but we are going to leave that until after we get this pulsed and already pretty well mixed, because that is going to help it bind together in the end. So we're just going to start by pulsing it. And then I'll just run it on low until it all just starts kind of coming together. All right, and you can really see that coming together. It's all one big lump right now. So I'm just gonna spread it out just a little bit back into the food processor. It's a really good texture right now, but it still needs just a little bit of liquid. Otherwise, the bottom part of that brownie is just gonna be really dry. But we can do that while the lid is on. I'm just gonna pour a little bit of it in there. If your peanut butter or your almond butter happens to be really dry, you'll need more of it. But I'm gonna start with about 2 tablespoons, and then we'll see how it goes. Okay, let's see here. Yes, that is like the perfect consistency. So it's not a pourable type of brownie. As you see, it's really, really thick. So we just kind of need to be able to spread it with a knife, really, essentially. All right, so I have a brownie pan here that I've already got lined with a piece of parchment paper. And if you've ever seen the show before, you know how to put your parchment in there. You just wad up that parchment paper, crumple it up really good, and then spread it out because it's easier to mold down into your pan. You could also just cut it and put it in there, but I find that it's just a quicker, easier way to put that in the pan. All right. Get all of this in there. This part's a little bit tedious because this mixture is so very, very sticky. So you can do this with a knife or even with a spoon, or you can just do it with your fingers, which I'll probably do a little bit of a mixture of both. Just putting a little bit of water on your hands between so that it doesn't stick to your hands too bad. All right. So we'll see how it goes here. Yeah, just initially, kind of just get it in there because it's just so thick. I think I am going to do that with my hands. I'm going to get a little bit of water. So just put a little bit of water on my fingertips, and then I just start to push it down. And that really, I think, works better even than the knife or the spoon. Okay, there we go. just like that. Yeah, it's not neat and tidy, but it doesn't matter because that pumpkin layer is going to go on the top of that and it's going to cover all of that up. So I'm going to move this stuff out of the way and get our ingredients for the pumpkin mixture. Okay, so the pumpkin mixture, this is the pumpkin spice mixture. So this is a pumpkin pie pumpkin. So the difference between those big monster jack-o'-lantern pumpkins and these, I find that the flesh is a little bit creamier and a little bit deeper in color and a little less watery. So I prefer to use these. What I did, I just halved it, scooped out the seeds, and I baked it on a baking tray for about a half an hour on 400 degrees. You really just want to get it until it's soft and it pulls away from the skin really easily. Alternatively, you can just use the canned pumpkin in a can. So essentially it is 1 can's worth or 1.5 cups of pumpkin puree. So we're going to start with that, and we're going to use our smaller blender. So this is 1.5 cups. And then I have 1/2 cup of pitted dates, 1/2 cup of cashews. And if you don't have cashews, you could use almonds or even sunflower seeds would probably work. I like to use cashews because it's a little bit plainer of a flavor. The sunflower seeds have kind of a strong flavor. So I like to use the cashews better. This is 1 teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice blend, 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and 1 tablespoon of white wine vinegar. And we're just gonna mix this up until it's really, really creamy, until those cashews and those dates are completely pulverized, which might take a little bit of work, back and forth, scraping it down and taking it in and out of your blender. And if you find that the mixture is just too thick, you can always add just like a tablespoon of water at a time, just to really get things moving. This happens to be a bit of a drier pumpkin, so I'm gonna do that. I'm just gonna put just a little bit of water in there, just to get things moving better. You don't wanna put too much water in there because then it won't set up correctly on the top. In true Jill fashion, I forgot one of the ingredients. This is 2 tablespoons of arrowroot powder, and I added another tablespoon of water just so that we can get that mixed in really well. Okay, I think we have it now. Yes, look at that, smooth and creamy. It's really silky. Make sure we get all of this goodness out of there. All right, so now we're gonna bring over our pan, and then we're just gonna put this right on the top. It smells so good. If you've ever made a pumpkin pie, that's exactly what it smells like right now. It's making my mouth water. So you just take that layer, just smooth it out really nice on the top. And the one difference I find too between using a pumpkin that you bake yourself or pumpkin puree from the can. The pumpkin puree in the can is a little bit more orange. So, you know, say if you're making these for Halloween, which happens to be coming up, which these are absolutely perfect for, the canned pumpkin might work a little bit better because it's going to give you more of that kind of bright orange color. And this is going to look more like the color of a pumpkin pie. Okay, there we go. Now this is going to go into the oven on 350 for about 35 minutes. While we're waiting for that, I'd like to share some background on our show. The Whole Food Plant-Based Cooking Show is crowd-funded, which means these free weekly recipe videos, along with our entire catalog of free printable recipes on our website, plantbasedcookingshow.com, and our Plant-Based Cooking Made Easy cookbook series, are all made possible in part by the generous patronage of our supporting membership community. So if you love our recipes, I invite you to join us on our mission to make plant-based cooking easy, and follow the link in the description to become a supporting member today. There's no denying the plant-based diet is a nutrient powerhouse, but did you know there are a handful of hard-to-get nutrients even well-crafted diets are often lacking?
The latest research suggests that complementing your diet with a few specific vitamins, minerals, and omega-3s will help boost your energy and keep you thriving for the long term. That's why my daily health routine includes Complement Essential. Complement Essential contains the 8 critical nutrients lacking from most plant-based diets in dosages optimized specifically for us. Plus, Complement is completely transparent about ingredient sourcing and third-party testing, publishing the results directly on their website. As a special discount for our viewers, just use code PLANTBASEDEASY at checkout to save 15% off of your order.
Okay, our brownies are out of the oven and I let them cool for about 15 minutes in the refrigerator. That's not necessary. You could just cool it on the countertop if you want. It's a little bit better if they're not super hot when you put this next layer on there. So we are putting a ganache layer or like a chocolate frosting layer on the top because if you can tell, if you want to come in for a closer look, they aren't the prettiest of bar right now. You can eat them just like this and they're fantastic. Or if you want to, sprinkle a little cocoa powder or something on top, that's great. But this will take it to another level. So I have a generous ½ cup of dates in here and a ½ cup of boiling hot water. And I let them sit in there for about 15 minutes just to soften those dates up so that it's easier to mix. It still is a little bit challenging, to get it really creamy and silky like you want it. But just have patience because it pays off in the end. Then I have a tablespoon of almond butter, but the same, you could use peanut butter or even tahini if you wanted. You just need a fat really a whole food fat to get that really silky. And then I have a ½ cup of cocoa powder. And that's it. Very simple ingredients, but the taste is spectacular. And then we're just going to blend this until it's really super silky and smooth. Okay, let's see what we have here. See if we're there yet. Oh, we're so close. I'm going to scrape down the sides and go maybe one more time because it looks like the dates are still not completely pulverized yet. Okay, that is looking better. So, just gonna get all of that off of the blades. Oops, and then we're just gonna put it all on the top. And just smooth it out just like you would just any other frosting. All right, I'm gonna finish frosting this and then I'll meet you at the table for a taste. Here we go. I can't wait for you guys to try these because they are so good, so rich. Here we are. Oh yeah, look at that. Mmm. Oh my gosh, that is so good. You are going to love it. Come on back next week for another great recipe.